Good evening, everybody. Oh dear, I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. Lovely to see you, Shane, already logging in. I, oh dear, I am so sorry that I am late. I'm just bringing some things up on my computer behind me, and hopefully lots of people will find that I've gone live. I literally only set the live stream up just now. And the reason was, hello Tina, nice to see you. Can you tag people? Hello Richard. Wow, looks like you were all waiting for me. But literally, let's just put this round. Literally, I fell asleep. Hang on a sec. It's telling me I've got some errors. What's this? Right. Right. Oh my goodness. Right. I don't know. Hang on. It's telling me that Facebook has not connected. Let's see. I don't know. Sorry, folks. Let me see. No, let's go back. Sorry, folks. I will be. Oh, I've lost you. Hang on, folks. Are you still there? Are we still here? No, hang on. I've lost you. Where are you all? I think. Off. There we go. Can you hear me now, Shane? Let's see if you can all hear me now. What have I got going on here? Let's push all my drawers in. Make it look a bit tidy round the back there. So, no volume. You can't hear me? Right, Susan says she can't hear me. Right, no volume. Hand and sound and screen all clear, says Gaz. So what about Facebook? Have we got Facebook? Can Facebook people hear me? Thank you, Gaz, for that. Let me see. Right, Susan can hear me now. Right, it seems we're on Facebook and YouTube. Right, okay, let's start this broadcast over again. Good evening, everybody. It's Lynn here, the Go Live Granny, and I'm live streaming this. Dear oh dear, live streaming this on Sunday the 17th of November 2024, and I'm late. I know I'm late, and the reason I'm late is because I fell asleep. Oh dear, it's been a very tiring week, as you will hear, and I've been out today helping at the I'll Access Craft Fair. You are on Facebook, Susan. Yes, look, if I do that, you'll see that you've got a Facebook signal by your side. little message, little sign there. So we are cooking on gas. Okay. So yes, I fell asleep. I've been out helping at the Isle Access Craft Fair today. I got home. I suppose I got home about 3:30. I don't even think I stopped for a drink. I sat down in the chair. I think I just had something very quick to eat, something not very much, and fell asleep and woke up at 8:10. I hadn't even set the broadcast up or anything. And I thought, right, I just need a few minutes to get myself together, to scrabble around, and here I am live, finally. No, I didn't watch Strictly Tonight, so please don't tell me the results, folks, because I fell asleep and I missed it, and I shall watch it after the broadcast, because I came in at about 3:30 and fell asleep in the chair before 4 o'clock. So I've been asleep in the chair for 4 hours. So I should be nice and refreshed to do a broadcast to you. Let's hope that's the case and that I don't fall asleep on camera, because that wouldn't be very nice either, would it? Let's have a look. So don't tell me the Strictly results, because I don't want to know. I shall watch the replay after the broadcast. So how has everybody been? I've had a very busy week, which is probably why I'm tired tonight. But I did, as I say, I woke up 8:10 on your oh my word, says it says Jill. Well, and I can't remember. Did I live stream last week? I can't remember. My brain's gone completely blank. As to did I live stream last week? I went because I wasn't supposed to be away last week. Originally, that was not part of the plan, and then my daughter needed me, even though we thought the weekend was covered by someone else, because she was away. My son-in-law was taking children to uni visits, and 2 children needed looking after. So I was at my daughter's last week, and oh no, that's right, Shane. That's right. I didn't go live on YouTube. I couldn't get the. That's right. I couldn't get live because something. I couldn't get logged in. That's right. I was live on Facebook. That's it, because I couldn't get logged in. And then I couldn't get hold of my son because he was in the cinema with my grandson and couldn't hear me. And he needed to give me the code to log in on his account. And as he was in the cinema, his phone was switched off. So I just went live on Facebook, just directly on Facebook last week. That's right. I remember it now. So I have had a week. So a week ago, Thursday, I went to my daughter's, and I was there up until Thursday when I got back on the island. And guess what? Because I know those of you who weren't able to watch me last week because I couldn't go live on YouTube, it was an unexpected trip to my daughter, and when I went to book my train ticket, the ticket prices had soared, so it was going to cost me more than double what it normally takes me to get to my daughter's. And of course, we would not. Sorry, there's a whole pile of stuff here. Now, let's move that out of the way. Usually when I go on my trips, I get delayed, don't I? And I get my money back. But you could bet your life that if I was going on an expensive ticket, that I would not have actually got my money back. So actually what happened, my daughter popped down to Southampton and picked me up. She didn't mind doing that, and it just saved a huge train fare. So anyway, then I booked my train back on Thursday, and I was able to get a cheap ticket coming back on Thursday. And guess what? My train was delayed over an hour, so I have got my money to come back again. So anybody who doesn't know, when I travel on the trains, I found out through my lovely community here that if I'm delayed more than an hour. Hello, Debs. Nice to see you. Can you those of you on Facebook, can you share the broadcast? Hang on, I've got a pile of things falling on my feet. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I got some things falling on my feet. So yes, what was I going to say? So I managed to get the cheap ticket going back on Thursday, coming back to the island on Thursday, and so those of you who are new to the broadcast who don't know, I regularly travel to go and help my daughter with granny type duties, and usually I go on the train, and then there's usually shenanigans. Well, nothing short of shenanigans again this week. I was lucky, and I will get a refund because I was delayed for more than an hour, just over an hour. We don't mind just over an hour because I know that the money's come back. So, last time I did the journey, I got a refund, both ways, going up and coming down. Well, I say I've got a refund. I have had the refund, but not in the way that I want. Usually, I apply online for the refund and it gets refunded into my bank account. However, I applied for the refund, and I had to do 2 applications for the refund, and I did the first one and last time and got the money into my bank. I did the second one, but I hiccuped and I applied on the wrong train network. So when I travel on I go on the hover, usually on the hovercraft across to Portsmouth and Southsea, and then I go up country to my daughter who's in Wiltshire, and I have to change trains a couple of times, and I go between South Western Railway and Great Western Railway, and occasionally I end up on a cross country railway. And Shane's saying, do I get all my money back? You get your money back. What happens, there's a policy that if you're 15 minutes late, you get a refund. If you're that's a partial refund of your fare. If you're more than an hour late, you get a full refund. You have to apply online, and it was all a bit of a faff. You have to get your ticket and upload it and all that. And because I have shenanigans. Sometimes I've had shenanigans uploading my ticket. Anyway, I'm getting a bit more familiar with it now because it's happening nearly every time. So I applied last time, and I put the application in to one of the applications. I think I put both applications into South Western Railway. Well, apparently one of the journeys should have been submitted to Great Western Railway. So I'd submitted them both to South Western Railway, and they agreed the one, but the other one, they said, no, you need to apply to Great Western Railway. However, we have forwarded your claim to Great Western Railway, which was okay, but it seemed that Great Western Railway, by doing it that way, I don't think they knew my bank account. And what happened, some of you will see, I've had shenanigans even with that, because they sent me a check. Who uses checks these days? I haven't had a check in such a long time. Anyway, I knew you could pay it in on your bank account, and I've got 2 different bank accounts, and I do phone banking. I do all my things to do with my bank online on my phone, and I know that you could take a photograph of it and upload it to your bank that way. And guess what? It wouldn't load. I think I missed a comment from Shane just now. Let's see. Your friends. Oh no, Sam's friends Janet and Jean and Joyce and Pamela and Christine say hello. Hello to Janet and Jean and Joyce and Pamela and Christine. Hello to all you lovely people. So, and Jill was reminding me I had live streamed last week. So, yes, Shane, the answer is I do get all my money back if it's more than an hour. And, sometimes I'm going there and it might say, oh, we're experiencing a little problem, and then the train stops. Like one time it stopped and there was the signals had failed, and they only failed for 15 minutes, so we were just delayed 15 minutes in that bit. But the impact of that was I got to my next station where I needed to change 15 minutes late, which meant I missed my connecting train, and I had to wait an hour round for the next train. I never mind. I travel with my knitting. I've always got my phone to play games on and things like that. I chat to people in the stations and have a thoroughly good time. And I'm getting to know lots of the station staff because I have passenger assist where they help me on and off the train. They put ramps up. Hi, Patricia. Lovely to see you coming in there on YouTube. So just talking about the shenanigans of my week. And so, yeah, so I'm getting to know a lot of the staff there, and it's really nice. So, again, so this week is again coming back. Things, you know, things went wrong again. I think it was a signal failure. But as I say, I don't mind. I don't mind a delay of about an hour. If it got to 2 or 3 hours, I might start getting a bit fed up. But the thing is, if they refund my money, it means I can keep going backwards and forwards, and my pension's not being gobbled up. So well pleased. But we knew last week when the train fares shot up, we knew that if I booked a train last week at more than double what I usually pay, it probably wouldn't have hiccuped. There probably would have been no delay, and I wouldn't have got anything coming, you know, any refund coming back. Deb's saying a friend had the last train of the evening cancelled, so they couldn't get to her daughter's graduation early next morning. No compensation helps. Shenanigans. No compensation, but she should be able to get her train fare back at least. Even, and that's dreadful. Especially if they decided to travel the day before and then couldn't get there. That's terrible. I'm really sorry, Debs, that they didn't get to their destination, but I hope that they do claim for their money back, even if they didn't get to the graduation. Let you know, and all they have to do is apply to the train company online. But as I say, I put my claim into South Western Railway, and one part of my journey was South Western Railway, but the other bit wasn't. So they forwarded it to Great Western Railway, who sent me this cheque. And there's no open banks in Ryde. So to go and pay it in at a bank, at a physical bank, I would have to walk 10 minutes down to the bus stop, get a bus that takes 20 to 25 minutes to get into Newport, and then there's a few minutes walk around the corner to the bank. Then there'll probably be time to queue in the bank before I pay it in. And then all that reverse coming back. And I'm too busy to go all the way to Newport just to pay in the cheque. So I tried to pay it in online. And some of you will know, because I even had shenanigans trying to pay my cheque in. So there's on your phone banking, there's a little space where it says pay in checks. I eventually found it. I didn't find it straight away. And since I had pneumonia, I have had a lot of brain fog, and it takes me a lot longer to process things. Whereas I used to know, oh yes, I know how to pay in a cheque. These days I have to brain process that, and it takes me longer. But I found it without having to ask anybody. I did it myself. I found it, and then it says take a photograph of your cheque. So that's okay. It says put your cheque down on a dark background. You know, it says you have to have a dark background. Well, I've got a brown footstool, so I thought that would count. I put my cheque on the footstool. I tried to hover over the top and hold my camera, and you have to get the cheque exactly right, exactly in the box. But I don't know if any of you have done it. It's very difficult sometimes to line something up here over the top like that, and no matter which way I went, it wouldn't take a blooming photograph of it. So that was on one of my bank accounts. So I closed that bank account and opened up the other bank account, found the place where I needed to pay it in, did the same, hovered over. It says take a picture of the front of your cheque, and it would not allow me to take a photograph. However, you know, I don't necessarily hold it, you know, I don't have the shakes, but maybe just holding it, it wasn't lining, the corners weren't lining up, and it was driving me insane. And then eventually, so I gave up on the second bank account, went back to the first bank account, tried it again, and it let me take a photograph of the front of the cheque. Great, we're in business. Or so you would think. But hey, no, not so easy, because it didn't let me take a photograph. Oh, it did. It let me take a photograph of the front, but then it wanted a picture of the back of the cheque. The back of the cheque was completely blank. There was nothing to take a picture of except a white piece of paper, and it wasn't having any of it. No matter what I did, it was not going to take, because there was nothing for it to, nothing to click round, because there was no writing on the paper. With your essential tremor like Parkinson's, you'd have no choice doing that. Not accessibility friendly. No, it certainly isn't, Debs. And, you know, they need to get a life and get into the 21st century. Right. Okay. Sam, don't tell me any more about Strictly, because I don't want to know who's gone out. And I can tell, obviously, that they, I can tell who hasn't gone out from your comments. So please don't tell me about any more about Strictly, because I fell asleep, I missed the results, and I don't want to know the results until I've watched the broadcast. But anyway, I'm feeling quite happy if you're saying that Sarah or Chris will win. That means they've gone through, and that's really good. So you know, please don't spill the beans. I'm going to watch the broadcast after I finish this broadcast. But you know, I was clean out of it. I went to sleep at about between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, and I've been asleep in the chair for 4 hours. I was so tired. So I haven't even had any tea yet. But never mind, I can do that after I finish chatting to you. I've got my lovely mug that my son gave me. It says, I love you. One of my sons gave me it. And it says, to the moon. Oops. Oh, dear. To the moon and back. And, you know, my children are always very good at telling me they love me. And it's just so nice. So things like that remind me. Yeah, so I have not paid my check-in. And then one of my lovely people online said they think I can pay it in at a post office. So that will work for me, because on Tuesday I go into town. I go to my coffee morning in the morning. I usually go into Iceland to do my shopping with my Iceland voucher that gets me cash back, and I get the senior citizen discount, which is why I do the shopping on Tuesday. And then yeah, and then so I will be in town. There's 2 post offices in town, one at the top of town, one at the bottom of the town. So let's hope that I can pay that check in. It's not a vast fortune, but it's money coming back to me. It was this time it was £27 something. I reckon it should have been nearer 30, but I'm not going to argue with them. It's too much hassle to say, hey, you didn't refund it properly. I'm happy to get the £27. But what I will do this time, because yesterday, where are we today? No, I travelled on Thursday, didn't I? So on Thursday, I got, you know, went as usual to the train, and the train was delayed. And it was delayed just over an hour. The usual thing, you know, the signals failed at a certain place. Can't you do it on Friday when you're in Newport? I could, Susan, I could, but that means I've got to leave the hub and walk round to the bank, and be out of the hub for a little while. I often out of the hub for a little while, because I often go to B&M, which is 2 or 3 doors along. But Susan, because I'm going to be in Ryde on Tuesday, I think I can pay. Somebody said I can pay it in at the post office. I know I can draw cash out of my bank at the post office, and so that was a good message that somebody said, oh, I think you can pay them in. So if I can, I will pay it in on Tuesday. If I can't, I will just try and do it on Friday when I'm at the hub, as you say. Nice to see you in the broadcast, Susan. So so that was the shenanigans of my check. What else have I been? So I had a lovely time at my daughter's. It was an unscheduled plan. You know, I wasn't supposed to go there last week, and then there was a hiccup to the arrangements, and so I went. And she wanted me to stay, because I realised they needed me at last minute. I was going to travel up on Friday and come back on Sunday night, because I had booked my stair lift to be wait a minute, let's have a think. Now, what had I done? Yes, because that's right, because I had booked my stair lift to be done on Monday. So last week I had my bathroom conversion done, and they came on Monday, and they were working through till Friday. So I've got the bath been taken out. I've got a disabled bathroom now. So very user friendly. It's brilliant, absolutely wonderful. And the people who did the work absolutely did it so well. But I had to leave and let them finish off on the Friday while I was gone. But I knew these people, so I was quite happy to leave the key and let them put it back in with my neighbour. So I didn't actually see my new bathroom finished until I got back from my shenanigans. And so I was looking forward, when I came back on Thursday, I was looking forward to being in my new bathroom. Of course, I get back and there's a pile of papers to go with, because I've got one of these new whizzy toilets as well for disabled friendly as well. And you think you can pay cash into the post office, but not sure about checks. Never mind, I'll find out. I'll find out, Susan, on Tuesday, won't I? I can let you know then. So yes, so I have this new toilet that it's like a shower toilet as well. I won't go into all the details. You can, use your imagination. But it has a remote control on the wall, a bit like a TV control. And I needed to know how it worked. And the instructions that were left with it were how to install it. Well, I didn't want to install it. I wanted to use it. I wanted to know how all these buttons worked. And there wasn't an instruction there. And I thought, well, I need to know before I try and use it. So I went on YouTube. YouTube is marvelous. How to. I think the most searched question on YouTube is how to. And then I punched in the name of my new toilet, and it showed me how to use it. I know how to use a toilet, but it was how I then finished the whole process of getting off the toilet and doing that. I won't go into too many details, but I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. It's very helpful. They also put it in at a height. They said, did I want it higher than a usual toilet? And whilst I could still use a normal toilet at the moment, I don't know how long that will be for, because I do, I struggle a bit to get out of chairs and things, a little bit, not too much. I need to sort of press down and help myself, off the chairs and things. So I asked them if they would raise it up. So future proofing, whilst I could manage that height at the moment, they increased the height of the toilet a bit, and it's wonderful. I've got drop down arms at the side should I need to be able to use that. So anyway, that's all the conversation about my toilet. So because I've got a nice new toilet, it's got a wet room floor, and I thought, well, I need a mop around for that. So I dug in the back of my boiler cupboard, because I knew I had mop type things in the back there, and I found a couple of very old mops, and one of them was just, all I wanted was a squeegee bog standard, don't want all singing or dancing mop. I just wanted a bog standard mop that I could mop if there was much spillage. As it happens, it needs very little mopping, because it drains. They've done it so it drains down. I've had to have a pump because they couldn't get the height above the drain very easily, so it wouldn't naturally drain away. So they've had to put a pump in, but that's fine. I've got a lilac bathroom floor, very pale lilac, but it's lovely. I have they've made good the repair where they had to take tiles off to do bits and pieces, but they've done a brilliant job, and I'm very, very happy with it. Happy with my new shower, happy with my new toilet. But of course, you have a new bathroom and a new toilet, you need a few accessories. So I wanted a mop, and on a Friday, as you know, I'm do the Isle Access Hub in Newport, and the hub is a few doors along from B&M, and a lot of you will know that one of my favourite stores to shop in is B&M, because the deals you get in there are brilliant. It's a huge store, so there's choices of all sorts of things. You can buy bathroom fittings, you can buy bedding, you can buy food in there, you can buy toys, you can buy stationery, beauty products. There's so much in that store, and the prices are good. And of course, you know how much I love my top cashback. So those of you who want to know about cashback, do ask me about cashback. because I was so pleased. So on Friday, because I had accrued some cash back, and this is getting money back on things I'm going to buy anyway. And I bang on about it so much because I'm so pleased, and I want other people to get money back on things they're buying. So when as you go through and do your shopping, it takes a while for the cash back to it says it's pending, and then depending on which store it is depends on how quickly they pay top cash back, and that depends on how quick you get your own cash back. Sometimes it's quite instant. If, for example, if I buy a gift card from top cash cards, or whatever it's called, if I buy a gift card, the cash back goes on my account instantly. Some things, there's different times when different retailers take to pay. So every now and again, a little bit more there'll be a message, and it says you've got cash back. You've got cash back in your account. Not it tells you when it's registering the cash back, but then it tells you when it's ready to pay out. And to date now, since Shrove Tuesday of 2023, I have accrued about £500 of cash back. So just think about that, folks. That's money coming back to me that I had spent, and would, if I wasn't doing cash back, I would never have seen a penny of that again. But because I've used cash back, I have now had £500 come back to me for things I was buying anyway. And that's why I bang on about it. This day and age where we're all trying to make our money go faster and further, why wouldn't you? And on the strength of how well I've done, I've managed to recruit some other people who are now benefiting from getting cash back. And on Friday, I was so excited with what happened that two people who I told the story to of what I got have now signed up to Top Cashback. And, it's something I believe. I only recommend what I believe in. I wouldn't recommend it if somebody said, oh, you should get this. If I've tried it and know it works, then I will recommend. So I never recommend anything that I wouldn't believe in. So please trust me on that. I think most of my usual audience will know that's how I work. So so this week I had some money ready to cash out. We do standing from seated and vice versa exercise classes. Oh, excellent. Yes, for getting up. That's right. A gnome, one be a gnome fishing, leaning forwards, swinging arms, and imagine pushing a chair on wheels away. All create momentum to stand. Excellent, Debs. Yes, because as we get older and as our bodies change, it gets more and more difficult, doesn't it, to stand up? And I know from experience, as you do too. So we have to make life as easy as we can for ourselves. And life was made easier for me because I was told that I could have one of these, toilets with the arms and all that. So why not? So that's brilliant. Anyway, so yes, so back to Friday and my B&M visit. So I knew I was going to the hub on Friday, and I wanted one or two bits and pieces from B&M. And as I say, B&M is so near to the hub that it's a bit of I can't resist going and getting my bits and pieces while I'm there in Newport on a Friday morning. And so there are a few bits I'd wanted. So on my cashback payout, it said that I had got, it was something around £30. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I never leave it on the account to accrue into a huge amount. Some people leave it there and save for Christmas. I have that thinking, what if Top Cashback goes out of business and I've got £100 sitting on the account? So I never leave it to accrue like that because I think it might disappear anytime. So it had accrued to about £30 or something like that. Now, if you take it, you can take it straight as cash into your bank, which I used to do until I really understood the system. Or you can put it in your reward wallet. Okay, so it asks you, do you want to transfer to your bank or to reward wallet? Well, talking to my son, I realized that actually going to the reward wallet was much better but you have to understand the process, and that it's not instant. Whereas, you know, if you send it to your bank account, it's in your bank account in a couple of days. And there's still a process waiting, you know, if you do it as a reward in the reward wallet. So I have this money in my reward wallet, and I look at which stores you can get, so it converts to a voucher. And there's a list of stores that you can use it on. You know, they're not all available, not all stores are available, but it lists the stores, and it tells you how much, what percent it's going to convert at. And B&M is one of the good ones, the higher percentage. So you can click on it and see how much it's going to be. I can't remember what it was. It was 30, just over £30. But when I clicked on the reward wallet, it converted to 35, almost £36. So it adds on a bit more money. So it added on like £2 or £3. Why wouldn't I have that rather than cash, which I'm then going to spend in B&M anyway? So it makes more sense that I would get something extra for my money. And in this case, I think it might have been my my Baby Bell cheeses, because they sell Baby Bell cheese in there, which is something that I use in my Slimming World journey, and my food that I can have, you know, on my Slimming World journey. And they do a pack of 15 Baby Bells in there, and I like to buy the Baby Bells when they're on offer, and often I buy them in Iceland or that, but they weren't on offer in Iceland last time, and I'd run out, and a pack of 15 is a better deal anyway than 12. Although they weren't on an offer, I think they were on a pretty good deal in there anyway. So actually, by using the wallet, the pay wallet, I basically got those cheeses for nothing, because that was about the extra I got by using the pay wallet rather than the cash system. So that was exciting, and I love it when I get all these things, you know, anything like this. And if I can help anybody else, sorry, you can see me scratching my hand. I've got a very irritating backhand. I don't it's not a backhander. I don't know whether it's an allergy. My hand seems a bit dry. I keep putting loads of hand cream on. I hope it's not an allergy to the hand cream, but it's very itchy. Let me stop scratching my hand if I can. So B&M. So I went into B&M and I said to the folk in the hub, I could be sometime. And last time I went to B&M, I came back with I don't know if you've seen the big B&M bags. I had one in here the other day, and they are huge. And on the outside of the B&M bag, it says, I can't be trusted in B&M. Well, I took the bag with me again, so I didn't have to buy a new one, although they're excellent value. They're £1, and it's a great big bag. But I didn't need another one, but I knew I would probably need a big one. So I took it with me. And so in my basket, for my £36, I got my cheese, my 15 Baby Bell cheeses. I bought myself a little bin, you know, to put my bits and pieces, my lady bits and pieces in the bathroom. And I've been wanting a new bathroom bin for years, but I had one, and I think I told you this last time. I had one of those sagey green, olivey green type ones. When bathrooms back in the day were all that sagey or green, and those people of my generation will probably remember, I bought myself a bathroom bin, you know, a little tiny little pedal bin, and I've used it all those years. And I didn't want to really throw it away because it still works, and I don't, you know, like just getting rid of something just because. And I bought that bathroom bin to match my bathroom that I lived in 3 homes ago. And then I just brought it with me and used it, not matching, in my bathroom since then. But I actually have 2 bathrooms here. I have a bathroom. Well, it's not a bathroom now. It's a shower room now because there's no bath. The bath has gone. And the other one is an ensuite shower and loo off my bedroom. And so the green one's going to stay in there. Avocado bathroom suite. That's right, Patricia. That's what it was called. Avocado. The colour was called avocado. Thank you for prompting me, my aide memoire. And so The green one's going to stay in. I only had one bin between 2 bathrooms, so I treated myself all these years later to a little pedal bin, and it was £8. It's a white one. The bathroom's mostly white or creamy white, and so I now have a white bin in there, which was £8. But don't forget, it was cashback money, so it was not really an expenditure. So I got my baby bells, 15 baby bells. I got a bathroom bin, and I've been wanting a single duvet. Although I have a double bed, I have an issue. Everything is much more, gets more difficult as we get older, and I can only get out one side of my bed. The other side has got things down that side, the wall, and then a few boxes of things that I needed to store. So down that side of the bed. So I have to get out the other side. And when I come to get out of bed, my duvet is very heavy. You don't think of a duvet as being heavy, really, until you have weaknesses in your wrists or a disability. And it becomes, then you realize. So when I want to go out of bed, I naturally turn this way. So the wall is this side, and I naturally turn that way. So to get out of bed, I have to push the duvet right over and push it all on the floor. And I'm finding it quite difficult. It doesn't. You don't realise these processes until you get older and have these issues. And so I'm pushing it on the floor. Then I've got to get over it to get out. To get on with my day. And I suddenly thought, do you know what? I don't think I need a double duvet. There's only me. I live on my own, so there's only me. If I had a single duvet on the bed, it will cover me because I'm only a single person, and I'm much smaller single person now. I've lost, and I had another weight loss this week, 2.5 pounds off this week. So I'm now at the lowest I've been for a long time. So I've lost 3 stone, about 3 stone, 3.5 pounds, something like that so far, heading on to the next goal. And really pleased with that. So anyway, I decided that I needed a single duvet because it would be much easier. I probably could shove it over there and get out of bed like that, or it would be easier if I pushed it on the floor to get round it on the floor. oh, the shenanigans of a go live granny, how life is. So I've been wanting a duvet, and I think, now what did I pay? I think it was either £12 or £16. I can't remember, but I was pretty pleased. It's a 13.5 tog, and so that was. Hello, Elizabeth. Nice to see you. Elizabeth's just come in from Facebook. She's saying hi, Lynn, and everyone. And sorry you didn't get much scheduled notice for me coming in live, but I fell asleep. I fell asleep till 8:10 and only quickly said I'm going live in a minute. So you didn't get much notice. Jill's saying well done, Lynn. Well, you know me, I love my bargains, Jill. Oops, hang on. That's amazing, Lynn. I'm going to join after Christmas Slimming World. Oh, well, where are you going to do your Slimming World, Patricia? Over your way? Have you got one near you? Elizabeth saying she got a duvet from home and bargains. Lynn, it was a 15 tog. Well, I went for the 13.5. I thought that would do me nicely. And I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to open it tonight and use it. But so I came home. So I had, this is why I needed this huge bag to put everything in. So we're getting there. I had the 15 baby bell. This sounds like one of those competitions where you have to remember what Lynn bought, and you have to add it on into the conversation. So 15 baby bell, a little white pedal bin, and a duvet, and I know what I bought. See these boxes up here. Let me see. I can't see one of the size I bought. I bought four of the really useful boxes. So whoops, let's see. These are the no, that's not a really useful box. That's another make. Wait a minute. All these boxes are from the Really Useful Company, and I used to buy them from the Really Useful Company. Now I buy them in B&M, and the one that size that's really good for putting craft stuff in. Oh, I can see one. Hang on. So this size, £3. This. Good morning, Hazel, coming in from Australia there. How lovely to see you. So this is a £3 bit, and they're great. Look, they clip, and you know, you pop your stuff in there. There's a thing in there that I have got so many of these boxes, and I love them. They last years and years and years. You know, you can buy cheaper ones, but I love the really useful ones, and they come in so many different sizes. They come, you know, they come in little ones like this, and I've got sets of these screwed up onto the end of my bookcases where so I've got all these little things. I've got craft bits and pieces in lots of those. And then this size was just Elizabeth saying she loves all those boxes. They're so useful, aren't they? That's obviously why they call them the really useful boxes. They're amazing. And I found that these ones are £3 in B&M. I think if I bought them anywhere else, I think they'd be more than £3. And so I had 4 of these. So that was a pretty good deal. So that was 12. I think the duvet was 16. So what would be that? That would be 28, 29, 30, 31. Was that right? 31. Yeah. So all of those things. So 4 of these, maybe not quite math. I know that I had 2 more items in my shopping. I had a mop. I'm very organised. Well, it looks like I'm organised, Elizabeth. Don't let that fool you. I'm trying to be organised. I'm getting there, bit by bit, box by box. I'm getting organised. And these are so lovely because, you know, I do crafting for the hub on a Friday, and sometimes I go off somewhere else and do crafting. I can pop lots of my little craft bits in here for easy transportation and easy transportation back. Hazel's saying good morning to Patricia. Hope all is well with you. That's the Facebook group chatting. No, that's the YouTube chat group chatting to each other, and then we have people coming in on Facebook as well. So it's lovely. So that's what I got. I got a duvet. I got 4 of these boxes. I got 15 Baby Bell, and I got my little pedal bin, and that was about the voucher. But then I had 2 more items in my basket. I had a mop, and I had some fry light, which is the spray I spray my frying pans with, which doesn't count as any sins on. It's a Slimming World recommended item, and it was £1.75 in there. I noticed when my daughter was buying it, I think we were in Iceland when I was with her last week, it was £2.20, I think. So I was really glad that, you know, I could buy it at £1.75 and not £2.20. Anyway, so when I get to the counter, I have the shenanigans of trying to get the voucher, because when you change the voucher, when you change your cash back into a reward voucher, you have to choose a voucher, and then you have to do it a day or 2 in advance, because it takes a process of 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 days to convert into a voucher. But it had converted into a voucher in my email. But of course, because of my brain fog this time, I take a minute to process how to get the voucher out of the, so that I can use it at the cash desk. And I got towards the cash desk, and I was having trouble finding my voucher. So I let people go in front of me because I didn't want to hold the queue up. Anyway, I eventually worked the process out and found the voucher. And so I only had to pay for 2 items in my basket. Literally, you give the voucher and then actually cash or card for the other 2 items. Now, one of them was a mop, I told you. Now, I didn't want a bog standard mop. I went to my cupboard where I knew there were mops beforehand, and I found a mop, one of those old squeegee bog standard things, went to use it, and it fell apart. So I thought, no, I better splash out. I better, push the boat out and buy a mop. But, as you know, with some of these things, like with my vacuum cleaner, I told you, I didn't want an all singing, all dancing mop that does this and does that and telescopic and this and that and all the other things. I wanted a mop that mopped the floor. As basic as I could. I think I wanted a squeegee rather than one of those ones with all the fabric bits and all that. So that's what I wanted. And then I stood in front of the mop section, And oh my goodness, you got this mop that does this, and that mop that does that, and this one that does that. And I stood there. There was another customer standing by, and I said, oh my goodness, I want a mop that mops. That's all I want. I don't want one that makes the toast or cleans the walls and everything else. I want a mop that mops the floor. Well, how did I know that the lady standing alongside me was actually a cleaner? She said, let me help you. She said, I'm a cleaner. I clean for other people. And she said, let me help you. And she told me about the different ones she uses for her different clients. And she found me a bog standard squeegee mop. Now it said it said £10, and I thought, oh, £10 a bit of a match for a mop, but if that's what they are, I'll have to pay £10. And then I looked on the shelf and it said £5. Ooh, I do like a bargain. It said £5. You're chuckling, Jill. I know. Who could believe I could make we could have such a chuckle over a bog standard mop? But you know me, I try to make a joke out of everything because life is fun. If you make it fun, you could get through it much better. It's not always been fun. I try, and I've tried very hard in some of my darkest times to find a giggle. I usually manage to find a giggle somehow, even in my darkest days. But life's too short to not chuckle. So anyway, so this lovely lady helped me choose my mop, and I was thrilled to bits. And of course, so I got all these lovely things. £36 worth of goodies for nothing, really. So it really does stretch the pension. You're right, Lynn. They make everything so difficult. Yeah, but treat it with a big dose of I'm going to have fun here. And you can have fun around anything, even a mop, a train delay or something like that. I managed to find the humor in most things because life is too difficult otherwise. Okay, so Patricia, we're sending lots of love to you, Patricia and Hazel, having a chat there. Life isn't always that good for lots of us, and the support of this group is amazing. When any of you do have troubles, if you share it in the group, I love to see how the members of the group support each other through the tough times. And Patricia, we're all sending you lots of love. There you go. So back to the mop, back to all these things. So I was absolutely thrilled to bits with all these goodies. And I was so thrilled, chuckling away about my mop and the lady there. And the mops, I think, were on the upstairs. There's an upstairs in B&M. And I always have to be careful in B&M because when you go in the lift, when you go to touch the lift, you're welcome, Patricia. When you go to touch the lift button, you've generated that static electricity, and you go to touch the button. I always try and do it with my elbow or something because you touch the button and it sparks. So I was negotiating the lift with my big trolley of bits and pieces, and as I came out of the lift, there was a lady standing in front of the lift. She was looking at something on a stand, and she got a trolley, and so she was standing there and her trolley was there, and I couldn't get past. But she didn't realise because she had her back towards the lift, so she wasn't doing it deliberately. So I said, oh, excuse me, can I get past? And she turned around and she said, hello, Lynn. And I have to say, I didn't recognise her instantly because there are, thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth's loving my knitted characters. I'll go on to those in a minute because I've had more fun with those. So I didn't instantly recognise this lady, but there are a lot of you in my community who know me much better than I know you. I mean, some of you I've met personally here, some of you I haven't. So if somebody meets me out who's watched my broadcasts, they would know me from being on broadcast when I might not know them. So I'm bold enough to say, sorry, I don't recognise you. Also, I have brain fog and I forget things. So if I do forget it, you have to just bear with me. It's not a deliberate thing at all. It's just that's how life is these days. So anyway, she told me who she was. Instantly, she said her name. She didn't even need to say her surname. Once she said her first name, I knew exactly who she was. And it was somebody who I'd met initially and helped over social media. So obviously somebody that lives on the island. And this was some years ago. And it was using my social media skills to help somebody in a difficult situation. So I got tagged into a post, many, many, many years ago. And this lady, she suffers from heart failure, and she was with her heart nurse, and they were doing some fundraising. And you know how I love to get involved with fundraising if I can. And what they had done, it was a thing over Twitter. And I'm going to call it Twitter because I don't like the fact that it's now called X. It's stupid. It doesn't relate to anything. And lots of people are leaving the platform because Elon Musk, they don't believe in Elon Musk, and they don't believe in it being called Twitter, and it's not doing what they want it to do. Anyway, that's the point. It's his company. He can do what he likes with it. But I vote with my feet. I don't really use Twitter anymore, but I did back then. And I could see, so I don't know whether I was actually on Twitter when I got tagged or whether I was on another social media platform, but what had happened, this lady was doing some fundraising with her heart failure, her heart nurse, and she had left the Isle of Wight on a Friday, and the fundraising challenge was to get onto leave the UK, go abroad, get as far as she could without any money, and get back to the island by Sunday night. And what had happened? Elizabeth never used Twitter. No, lots of people never did. I used it a bit, but it's never been my most beneficial platform. But anyway. So what had happened? This lady had got they'd got into France, and the idea of this fundraising is to go with no money, but find people, maybe somebody would pay this bit of the fare, and then somebody would pay for a meal, and somebody would do this, and using only social media to get all that stuff to happen. It's been amazing. I've actually got a book about somebody who went right across the world on Twitter, not using money. It was a challenge to get wherever they got, and there's a whole book on it. Somebody wrote on it. And in this world there are lots of lovely people who do help with some of these things. But what had happened, they'd managed to get from the UK to France, but they'd got a bit stuck, and somebody who knew how I like to use social media tagged me into a post and said, can you help this lady? And I thought, oh yes, this is a lovely challenge, I want to do this. So I used my social media skills. I got on social media and I said, this is what this lady's doing. She needs to get from here to there, and she needs, a meal, or she needs this and that. And together with all the other people doing it, we got her to I don't know how far away from the UK she got, but she went round France, and she managed to she and her nurse got round, and they managed to get back to the island on Sunday night, which was a challenge. I think I actually met her physically before. I think I have met her, but again, my brain a bit foggy. But she knew me. She recognised me. And so I said, oh, we must catch up. Let's have a coffee afterwards. And it was, I was just so excited to meet her again. But I was also excited about my basket of goodies. And I said, oh, do you know what? I've just got all these goodies, and I really haven't had to pay for them. They've come out of my cashback. And she said, send me the details, And so I have sent her the details of the link. And anybody who joins, they get £10 put into their account, which you don't get instantly. You have to obviously do some purchases before that logs in as a £10 gain to you, but it is a gain, and I also get something. I mean, I would do it whether I got anything or not, because I love to share these things with people. But I don't want anybody to think, oh, I'm only recruiting people because I get something out of it. It does help me, obviously. But so anyway, so that lady, she was very keen to know about that, so I've passed on the details to her. And I was talking to a lady at Slimming World, because I buy the flavour drops one of the things on Slimming World is I do like my Muller Light yogurts, but they are half a sin or 1 sin each, and that mounts up. So sometimes I have plain yogurts, which is no sins, doesn't count as any sins, but plain yogurt's a bit boring. I have lots of I buy lots of frozen fruit. I buy lots of fresh fruit, but fresh fruit's a limited lifetime, and I don't go out, as much as I used to. So once the fresh fruit's gone, I use frozen fruit. That's part of what I get in Iceland. And I put that into my plain yogurt, and that's no sins at all. I can eat as much of that as I like without ever it becoming an issue, on the lips and on the hips. Not so. But it is a bit boring. So I buy flavour drops, and again, they're no sins. And the company that do the flavour drops is My Protein, and My Protein is a top cashback site. So I can get my flavour drops through top cashback, and get more goodies. And I've actually clubbed with some other people some of my friends who are doing Slimming World, because My Protein charges postage. You can get free if you spend about £40, but these little flavour drops, you'd have to buy quite a lot of them to get the free postage. So we clubbed together, and I said to any of them, if you want me to get them, I'll get them. We'll club together, and then none of us will pay any postage. So that helped us all. So we did, 3 of us I put an order in for 3 of us, and we all got the free postage. So and it was also a very good deal at the time, because I said to them, the flavour drops are on a special offer, and if you want to, we could club so we don't pay any postage. So that's what we did. And so I've got so many of these flavour drops. I've got and I was introduced to them by my daughter, who her Slimming World consultant. It's not a Slimming World product, but her Slimming World consultant had introduced her to them. And so they have them. They have these flavored drops. They have banana and peach and mango and hazelnut and chocolate and white chocolate and marzipan and a toffee and cherry and blueberry and all these different flavorings, and they're really very nice, especially on the yogurt. So that's what I do. And I was telling a lady at Slimming World about them, and I said, and I get the cash back on them. And she said, tell me about this cash back. So she's signed up now too. And I do try and help people. I try and give them advice about the best ways to use their cash back. If I know their habits and how they shop, I'm able to help them, more. Like for the Dodge, if they are a senior citizen and shop in Iceland, they'll get 10% in Iceland, but you only get cash back if you. Good morning, Baba Mui, coming in from YouTube. Nice to see you here. So you only get cash back on Iceland if you do your an online order. But if you want to go in you don't get the 10% discount unless you go in the store. So what I do for Iceland is I buy a gift. You can buy a gift voucher for Iceland, and you get cash back on the gift voucher, and then you can use it in the store and get the 10% off. So I found all the dodges, as many of the dodges as I can, and then I share that with everybody. So last week we did a big order. I did some shopping for my daughter, and I said, come on, we'll go to Iceland and let's do the big shop so that you get the benefit of my 10% off. And I had bought vouchers. And in fact, I'd bought a £60 voucher, and it looked like we were going to spend a lot more than £60. So while I was in the store, I had to do it before I went in, because the signal was quite bad in Iceland's signals are very bad. Some of the stores are very bad, and you can't get the vouchers up. Anyway, I bought a £60 voucher, and then I said to her, do you want any more stuff? Get some more. I'll just buy another voucher. So while I was out and about, I actually just ordered another voucher, and they come on your system instantly. When you convert your pending cash back, if you buy a voucher with that, you have to wait a couple of days for it to convert. But otherwise, the other ones do it instantly, and you get the cash back instantly into your account. So what's not to love? So you get the cash back on the voucher, and then you get your discount in Iceland as well if you're a senior citizen. So what was not to love? So you know, I do like helping people stretch their money if I can. And so you know, anybody who wants the link, do let me know, and I will give you the links. So I think it's only UK. I think they're starting to think about going into other countries, but I'm not sure if they're there yet. So you know, we'll have to do that. But on the shopping front, so yes, so I was very excited on Friday with all my purchases, and I haven't mopped the floor yet. I haven't needed to mop the floor yet, but I'm going to try out my mop, my £5 mop that that cleaning lady recommended. That was super duper. And you know, so I'm quite excited with all the things. You know, it doesn't take a lot to float my boat. You know, some people, you have to do so much before they get a smile or anything. For me, it's about buying a pedal bin, for, you know, and using a voucher, things like that. I think I told you about my shenanigans with the Smiths one. So if you are doing this and you're converting from the wallet to one of the store vouchers, you have to read the details and the terms and conditions, because I got it wrong for Smiths. Now, the only thing I tend to buy in Smiths, I know I've probably repeated myself, but the only thing I tend to buy in Smiths is craft magazines. And Smiths is an expensive store, so all those stationery items and things I buy in B&M because I want my money to go further. But you know, there are not so many places who do the vouchers, do the magazines. So I go into Smiths, I sit on my Navy Nora trolley, because the craft magazines are always at the bottom, down at the bottom, right at the bottom of the shelf. I either find the things I want are either right at the bottom or right at the top. Anyway, the craft items are right at the bottom. So I sit on my Navy Nora trolley, which you lovely community members, some of you helped to fund that trolley, and I'm so grateful. So I sit there and I go through all the magazines and find the ones I wanted. So previously I'd had almost £10 to convert from my wallet into a voucher, and so I converted it for Smith so that I could get my next magazine in there. So anyway, I went to use it in the store, and the lady said, "Oh no, you have to print the voucher out." Now, most of them, when I've done these cards, most of them, it's just an e-voucher. You know, it's on your phone, and as long as you can get the signal and bring your phone up, which in Iceland I usually have to go out of the shop. I'll leave my shopping at the checkout. I say, "Excuse me, I've got to go out to get a signal to get the voucher to come back in." They know me now, so that's all right. Right, so nice to see Hazel supporting Patricia there, having a conversation. I love it when you lovely people support each other, and help each other along and chat to each other. So yeah, so in Smiths, I found a magazine I wanted. I went to the cash desk, I was bringing up the voucher, and she said, no, I need a physical voucher. I said, but the number's on there. No, I've got to punch in the number manually. But I was thinking, actually, the number was on there, but it does say on the terms and conditions of that one, you need to print it out. Well, many of you will know that this place is the death knell for any printer that ever comes in my house. I have killed so many printers. I used to be okay with printers years ago. I don't know what they've done to printers since then, but years ago I was fine with printers. But I have had so many printers and just can't get them to work. So I don't have a printer anymore. So that means I can't print a voucher. But I have lovely friends who do print the vouchers for me and bring them to me. But I don't do it deliberately. I'm not going to get any more Smith's vouchers because I don't want that process to happen. I'll just convert them to one of the stores that gives me an e-voucher, and I'll just pay cash at Smith's, because that alleviates that problem. So anyway, my friends did this. I didn't buy the magazine because I didn't want anything else, and I wasn't going to pay for the magazine when I got a nearly £10 voucher for Smith. So I put the magazine back, and my friends printed the voucher. But then stupidly, and this must have been a bit of brain fog, I managed to do a second voucher for Smiths. I don't know. I must have really been having a bit of a moment. And I did a voucher for £20 for Smiths. And I honestly don't know why. So I've now got £30 of vouchers to use in Smiths. So they've printed me the second one. So I've got them. And on Tuesday, I will take them with me into town and see if I can find some nice magazine. I won't spend them if I don't want something. I'll wait till another month, and because one of the magazines I've subscribed to recently, and I subscribed to that because they had such a good deal going. They had a subscription. You could sign up for 3 months. So these magazines are about £9.99, and some people say that's a lot for a magazine, but actually with the craft magazines you usually get what they call freebies, and so when I look at the freebies and think, my goodness, that would cost me £20 if I wanted to buy that. I don't buy a magazine just because it's got freebies. I buy a magazine if it's got freebies that I want to use. So I look first, and sometimes I'll put them back and think, no, I don't need that. I've got something like that. Or other times it would be something really nice that I think, oh, yes, I'd like that. So I only get the magazines, when it really piques my interest. But one of the magazines, it was on an offer, and this one does usually pique my interest. So I saw you could subscribe for 3 months, bearing in mind it's about £9.99 a month. You could have 3 months for £19.98. So in my world, that's pay for 2 months and get 3 months, get 3 months on offer. So in itself, that's a good deal. But on top of that, if you subscribed, you got it. I haven't got it handy. It's outside because I took it with me today. I've got a little die cutting machine, a small one that's very handy if you're just working in a small space or just cutting small dies. A little die cutting machine that retails at £60. So why would I not subscribe to the magazine? Now, I know that they want you to carry on subscribing month after month, but there's no compulsion to do that. And in 3 months' time, I could cancel my membership if I want to, but I'll look and see. I'll assess it when we get to 3 months down the line. But I'm very excited with my new little machine. So, stacking up the bargains here and sharing it with all of you. So, that was Smith's. So I still have £30 of Smith's vouchers to use. So I mustn't forget to take them with me when I go into town. I got to remember on my list. So I've got to make a little list. I've got to remember to take the check and see if I can pay it in at the post office. I've got to remember to take the vouchers, and I've got to remember to take back my library books. Look, so this one, my goodness, my wrists are weak, and this book is so heavy. Look at it. It's Tom Daly, Made with Love. Get hooked with 30 knitting and crochet patterns. So I thought I'd have a look and see. I haven't had much time to look and see, so I better do that tonight and tomorrow. And the book's due for renewal on Tuesday, so I should need to put that ready as well. So that's Tom Daly, Made with Love, and that's a very heavy book. Don't want to drop it. Certainly don't want to drop it on my toe. And then this one, look, Knit Christmas Stockings. I just thought I liked the look of this book because it looked like a Christmas stocking. And I've probably got lots of Christmas stocking patterns, but I thought I would have a look and see if there was anything else I fancied in here. But they're due back at the library on Tuesday. But don't forget, I go to the library for my coffee morning. So as long and of course I have Navy Nora. I'll put them in Navy Nora because they're so heavy. The Tom Daly one is so heavy. So I'm just trying to think what else I was going to share with you because so many good things going on. Need to leave now. Off to play croquet. Enjoy yourself, Hazel, and of course, for those of you watching in wondering why Hazel's off to play croquet, she's in Australia, and of course in Australia it's daytime, whereas we here in the UK we are about 10 to 10 in the evening. Susan's reminding me that you can renew library books online if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. I'll check and see whether I want to keep it or whether I don't. Thank you, Susan, for that. Jill's saying check the vouchers. Check the vouchers have a sell-by date, Lynn. A lot of vouchers have a 12-month limit. Yes, I don't usually let those vouchers go very far before I use them, but I will check the date. Thank you very much. So, yes, I will be looking and I will be letting you know what I buy. So let me think what else has been happening in my world. So today I've been at a craft fair for Isle Access, and oh yes, so that takes me to my knitting, and some of you have spotted my latest knitting. So when I went to my daughter's, of course I took a whole bag of craft stuff, including knitting needles and wool, and some of you will know that I bought from Isle of Wool some very big fluffy wool. I'm just going to flip my cam. Oh, I don't know if I can. How did the craft fair go? It was a bit quiet, but we made some money for the charity, Gaz. That's good. I'm just going to swing this round and let you see my screen. So this is there on my screen. Can you see on my computer? There's some big balls of wool, great big fat balls of wool, and those are big. Were the run gone on top of page? Where the run gone on top? I don't know what. I don't quite understand your question, Shane. Can you put it? The tractor run. Okay, you're going on tractor. Yes, you're having a tractor run soon. That's good. So those big fluffy balls, great big fluffy balls of wool. Isle of Wool, Helen's got them. It was a major deal. So those great big balls of very fluffy wool, she was selling them at £4. £4. Yes, they're worth £8.80, and she was offered them as a special deal by King Cole, and she bought 1,000 balls of it. So I know she's got plenty left. So I bought 3 initially, and I started making a cardigan with one, but I took the balls with me when I went to visit my daughter. And because I've been doing all this knitting when I was with them last time, I seem to have inspired them to get out their knitting and their crochet needles. So there's my daughter who does knitting, my twin granddaughters who like to crochet, their sister who likes to crochet. They know how to knit as well, but they seem to prefer the crochet. And so because I'd been doing loads of knitting and I'd knitted loads of these chocolate orange covers, so look, see, they've got the chocolate oranges in there. We're doing these for fundraising, and because I was doing lots of these for them, for their fundraising, and I had all these lines of little snowmen and Christmas puddings. That's a Christmas pudding, look, and all that. I had them all lined up on the couch. It seemed to inspire my granddaughters to get their needles out again. So one of them was doing a lot of crochet, and she had been crocheting, and it inspired her sister to crochet. Thank you, Elizabeth, saying that. Adorable. And hello, Donna. Great vouchers. Hope you're well. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. And so I found out before I went back to my daughter's that the second twin wanted to crochet, but the first twin had got the crochet hook size they wanted. And so I hopped on Amazon and just sent them a set of crochet hooks, because they would arrive the next, very quickly. So they had a set each. Then their sister wanted to do crochet, so I ordered another set, because they were very, very cheap on Amazon. And they would get there very quickly. So they can now all do their crochet. They've all got a set of crochet hooks each. But of course, I was sitting knitting there. I took my knitting. I took all sorts of craft stuff as well. And I had a real crafty week. But they're bringing me so many orders for chocolate orange. I should be sitting knitting here while I'm talking to you, because I don't know, the list hasn't been cut off yet, and I've got loads and loads of those to make. I knitted a snowman today while I was at the craft fair. it's dead time. If you're not very busy at a craft fair, or if you're, you know, in between times you've got gaps, then why not knit? You know, that's when I use all that dead time to actually craft. And so I've knitted another snowman during the day today. But Gaz, go back to your question. It wasn't all that busy, and there were some quite rude people at this craft fair, and I mean rude. They were the stall holders. Now, I've run events, and when you run an event, you do not want people to pack up just after the craft fair started because they decide nobody's going to be there. How you can predict whether anybody's coming, you know, all day or not, I don't know. But we had some people who'd packed. The craft fair was from 10 till 3, and it was supporting Isle Access, the charity for disability on the island. And it is very rude, Gaz, totally rude. So there was the hall was all set up, and then there was a stage with curtains on it, and you know, about 2 hours in, somebody shut the curtains, and then it was evident that those people were packing up. At least they'd shut the curtains, but then it had a knock-on effect, because then 2 more people decided to pack up. Now the thing is, how do they know who's going to come in the afternoon? They've paid a stall rental to be there. It's very rude to duck out of an event like that. If I see an event advertised 10 till 3, I expect to be able to go there right up till almost 3 o'clock, and everybody be there with their stalls. You know, so it's quite rude for any potential customers coming by not to have that. And I've always been like that. If you commit to something, you should stay. And you know, how would these people feel if they went to Sainsbury's to do their shopping, and the Sainsbury's stuff said, oh well, we decided to close 2 hours early just because we could? You know, wouldn't they be the first ones to complain? So Elizabeth's saying her daughter-in-law loves the little knitted chickens for the cream eggs. Yes, well, we do those at Easter time as well. Gaz has said he's left a little early before, but never so soon after getting there. No, but you see, I would be after you, Gaz. If I was an organizer, I would not be happy, because if I've advertised an event till 3 o'clock, and you know, this is my honest opinion, Gaz. I get where you're coming from, but also as a trader, I have sometimes done my best deal of the day, and a big deal, the last customer who came through. You know, and the thing is, if some of the stalls have gone and they wanted to come and buy, they've got money to buy. I've often benefited. You know, I've done, on a small craft fair, I've done a £50 sale right at the end of the craft fair. You know, and I will not pack up, because I think it is, you know, if somebody has travelled, say somebody lived in Ventnor and they went all the way over to, where were we? We were in Northwood, weren't we, today? Somebody come over from Ventnor to that event, and then we weren't all there. It would be very annoying, wouldn't it? So there we go. Very true, Lynn. Imagine going and nearly all the stall holders have left. Yeah, absolutely. I'm only 5 or 10 minutes. Gaz, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I get it. Hello, Tracy. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, that's okay. But you know, it's incredibly rude. In the big craft fairs, you're not allowed to do it, and you wouldn't even be able to get out of the big craft fairs, because your cars are parked somewhere else and they don't let you in until the public have left, and that sort of thing. But these people, that the people on the stage went. We were just, as you come into the hall, all down on the left hand side was all aisle access. So I had all the craft bits on my table. Moira was on the next bit, and she was doing the raffle, and then Sam and her girls were on the next bit, and they were doing the tombola, and then Jan's daughter Hannah was doing. They have a lovely business selling dog biscuits and treats and things, and that was a lovely store there. So we had all this side of the wall, but as you come in the door like this, opposite us, there was a stand there, and they'd suddenly decided to pack up, because you get a knock-on effect when some people do it. They were miserable anyway. The one of the women on the stage was so miserable that when I was going around the hall taking photographs, I made sure I didn't get her in the photograph because she looked so miserable. I thought, you know, this is a happy event and I want to convey that it's a happy event. So I managed to avoid getting her in the photograph because I didn't want a sourpuss looking out at everybody. So anyway, so that these ladies went, and then the end stall went, and the thing is, it's, you know, they didn't even go and say goodbye. They didn't even go and talk to Jan and Helen. Helen was helping Jan run the event. I have got a bit of a cold, Tracy. I think it sounds like it, doesn't it? I don't know, not much of a cold, and certainly not anything like it was 2 years ago this time, because this is when I was incubating my pneumonia 2 years ago. So no, I feel fine. Yes, so they went, but Jan and the others, we swung into action between us, and what we did was move Moira and the raffle straight across onto that table there. And actually, she seemed to sell more raffle tickets once she'd moved over there, because, of course, she was straight in line with the door. What you don't want is people people coming in and an empty space in front of them. I've done lots of the big shows, county shows. I've exhibited at the NEC and all of those, and it's all about display. And how, I mean, my display wasn't the best today, but I wasn't, you know, I'm not in the zone like I used to be. And I need, if I do another one, I need to get out some of the stuff that I used to use for display. But I remember one of the craft fairs I went to, it was a county show, a big county show. And some of us were in a marquee, and there was nothing in front of the door. Now, human nature is such that if they come to the entrance of a marquee and there's nothing in front, it might send a signal to them that this is an empty marquee. Or I'm not sure if I want to go and look in there, because people don't always like walking in and peering around to see if there's something. I would, but lots of people don't. And so, you know, I remember on that occasion, when I used to sell my children's books all around the country, I would have my van absolutely packed with stock, but also packed with tables and book racks and stands and anything to make the display. And when we saw this empty space at this event I was at, we found the organisers and we said, can we fill that space up, because nobody's going to come in the marquee if that's empty. And of course they would then have a whole marquee full of people not happy, who've paid a lot. The big shows were a lot of money to do, and they said, oh yeah, that's fine. So I hadn't paid any more for my stand, my exhibition stand, but I'd done a favour to the organisers and to the other people in the marquee by filling up all that gap, because I always had tables and tablecloths that I could just put another table up and just put a bit more on the display. And you know, so this is years of doing events that you know, you get into that vein. So I always used to have all those extra tables. In fact, some of the tables around me now, I've got a little coffee table here, one of those fold-up ones. These were all ones, I had loads of these I bought when I was going around the country doing all these fairs, because you never knew, there might be that extra space. You could just squeeze that in, and then you could have, on a little table like that, I once had, and I used to sell Usborne books, and we had a book that opened out and you lay it flat like that, and it was a train track with a wind-up train. And if you put that out on a table and demonstrate it, you will sell loads of them. If you put it folded up, put it on a shelf, you won't sell many. And I had that sort of thing. So I would have a little table like that to put something like that on. I remember those books were out at the time just before I went to exhibit at the NEC in Birmingham. And so I got a lot of them in to sell, and I put them right on the front of a display like that, on a little table like that. And I sold them like they were going out of fashion, because it was a working one. So you use one as your demonstration, you know, obviously you can't sell that one because it's used, but it brings in so many sales for all the others. And I sold loads and loads and loads. And I was remembering all those happy times today when I'd seen these, you know, when I was recounting to the others about, you know, rude people packing up and that sort of thing. And the thing is, you know, not not even to go and say thank you to Jan for hosting the event, or thank you to Helen for setting it up. I said, have you had their money? They said yes. I said, well, the charity hasn't lost anything, but it's just not a nice thing. But you know, that sort of thing, the word gets around, and people will not want those people booking into their events in the future. And the island's a small place, so you know, people know who these people are, and they think, well, no, if you want to come to my craft fair next time, I'm not going to let you, because you're going to go, you know, 2 hours into the event. It was a 5-hour event, and 2 hours in, they'd gone by lunchtime. Crazy. Anyway, but as I say, the swiftness of the Isle Access team, suddenly we'd helped to move all the raffle stuff over there, and the raffle, they did do quite well on the raffle, which means, you know, all was not lost. But I just have to put the message out there that I think they were extremely rude people. Anyway, moving off of extremely rude people and on to, so I was telling you about the wool, wasn't I? So those lovely big balls of wool that I bought, I have no more, because my grandchildren have them. I did go very loaded, so when I didn't have those 3 huge balls of wool to bring back, that was good, because it meant I've got less luggage to bring back. But also I can go and get more wool, because she ordered 1,000 balls like that, and it's a lovely thick chenille wool, and it's multicolored. It's reds and greens and whites. Susan saying, before I went to uni, I used to work in one of the gift shops in the old village. If a kid came in, I used to play with the toys to encourage the kids and family to talk. It was great. Absolutely. It's all about engagement. You know, totally about engagement. I was going to do an event that I wanted to do with my books, you know, with my Usborne books. But I had a team member who wanted to do the event. So I thought, well, you know, she can go and do the event. I earn from what she earns, so let her do the event and I'll just go home. Well, when I asked her at the end of the day how it went, she said, rubbish, I didn't sell anything. And then somebody told me a crucial piece of information. She was sitting there with her head in a book. I don't know about you, but I like to engage with people, you know, on the stalls and have a chat. And certainly if you're the stall holder, if you engage and talk to the people in front of the stall, you know, don't be overpowering and try and push a big sale. Just have a chit chat about life in general, or have a joke or whatever. You sell far more stuff. Night, night, Shane. Night, night. Lovely to have you. You sell far more stuff that way. So hence, this woman, I'd let her do the stall. She didn't sell anything, so it was not good for her or for me, because, you know, I was earning from her earnings because I'd recruited her. And if I'd gone myself, I would have done much better, because, you know, I like to help people. I like to engage with people. And that's what helps with sales, as you know, Susan, because that's obviously what you did. You know, it won't work. People who say these things are rubbish are because they've not actually talked to people and engaged with them. So that was silly. Anyway, so while I was at my daughter's, you know, she'd asked me to do the fundraising. So when I was at my daughter's, not this time, but the time before, she said, oh, Mum, will you make some of these chocolate orange covers? And this is one. There's one. That one's for Tracy. I don't think Tracy Cole is in the meeting, in the broadcast, is she? She wants some bumblebees, because that's appropriate. There's a charity that's appropriate with the bumblebees. Let's put that's for her. And so, yes, so I'd knitted all these lots of different chocolate orange covers. And my daughter then made a poster with them and put it out to people that she thought would, you know, be interested. Well, my goodness, she was right. The orders are flooding in. I really shouldn't be sitting here without my knitting. I've got lots of knitting to do. We've had a lot of orders for the snowman. This snowman, I did one that was a melted snowman, but this one is much nicer. So look, they've got the chocolate oranges in them. And then the Christmas pudding has been popular. So this time I was knitting, as you know, all day, while I, as much as I could, and I managed to complete 3 of the orders that she'd got. So people were ordering 6 at a time, or 5, 6, a whole lot at a time. And I'd done 2 orders, and on the night before I came home, I'd done part of the 3rd order, and I thought, you know what? If I stay up late tonight, I can finish that 3rd order, and then she can get rid of those. So I did. I don't mind staying up knitting in the night because I'm, as you know, I can catch up on my sleep. Only I didn't intend to catch up on my sleep, so I missed the beginning of the broadcast today. I was so tired. I came in and I didn't even have time to set an alarm before I fell asleep, because that's what I usually do on a Sunday. I set myself an alarm so I don't sleep through the broadcast. But I didn't even set the alarm. It was about 3:30, 4 o'clock when I sat down in the chair, and it was 8:10 when I woke up. Thought, where am I? Oh my goodness, it's Sunday evening and I haven't even set the broadcast up, which is why I then got on by 8:30. I didn't do badly, did I? So I'd set up and was online just after 8:30. Susan's saying she went to Isle of Wool yesterday and saw that lovely wool, but Helen said it wouldn't knit up to make cardigans or the like, so we didn't. But any sadly, as she felt shoulder joints would be 2 weeks. Oh right, yes, 2 weeks to make a cardigan on the like, so we didn't. But sadly, she felt shoulder joints would be 2 weeks. Sadly, 2 weeks to. Do you mean 2 weeks to do the knitting? Now, I started knitting a cardigan for one of my grandchildren with that, and it looked nice, but I don't know. It might be in a bigger size, it might be, more difficult. So anyway, I'm going to go back and get some more of that wool this week, because I let the grandchildren have it. They were, seeing that they were inspired to do all this knitting, and because it's big and bulky, it works up very quickly. My granddaughter, 1 minute she just started a scarf, and the next minute she'd almost finished it because it's so big and chunky and lovely and soft, that wool. So I'm going to go and get some more for my needs. I think it will make lovely hats, and might do some hats for the homeless and things like that. I haven't decided what I want to do with it, but I'm going to get some more. I love it. It's fascinating because it changes colour. You don't know. It's random, so it'll be red, and then further along the line it'll go white, and then it'll go green, and it's just lovely. But anyway, it's inspired all of us. So anyway. So my daughter's been giving me so many orders. So I was doing this, but when I'd gone to my daughter's earlier in the week, I knew that the night before, because we're Sunday now, aren't we? It was children in need. And of course, I have this lovely little Pudsey pattern, and I've been wanting to hold up for much wear on an adult. Oh yeah, I get it. Yes, a blanket or a scarf would be much better, Susan. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So I've always loved Pudsey, and I've had this Pudsey pattern. I've got a big Pudsey pattern, but I like this. I like the little ones, and so I had this Pudsey pattern, and I wanted to make him. I had to find the pattern because I got so many patterns, but I went through all my patterns before I went away and took this pattern with me. But what I didn't take was yellow wool. Because Pudsey naturally is yellow, isn't he? With the white scarf, the white bandage, and the spots. So I didn't have yellow, and there was no way I wanted to go out and buy wool when I was at my daughter's. Having said that, I did, but not yellow. I had to buy white because I was running out of white for the snowman, and I'd got some white with me that was a bit thin. It was supposed to be double knitting, but it wasn't so good. And the thing is, if you get decent wool, I knit faster with decent wool, and I've got so many to do. So we did go to Hobbycraft, and I did get some wool, because I couldn't buy it in Isle of Wool because I wasn't here, and I needed it instantly. So I went and bought some, and there was a good deal. There was the Women's Institute wool there, and it was 3 balls for the price of 2, so it came out a reasonable price. So I got some of that. But I did have this nice gold sparkly wool with me. I'd taken that to knit some cardigans for my grandchildren. So I got some gold and some silver. And I'd started the cardigan, but I was doing it when I was tired. And I it needed me to have a very clear mind, because it was decreasing for the armhole, you know, doing the decreases here, but it also had a shaped pattern here, a shaped bit. It didn't go straight down here, so I was having to make it, you know, decrease here at the same time as here, but not on the same row. And it was like, oh my goodness, sometimes I need to decrease here, sometimes I need to decrease there. I really need a clear head while I'm doing this. And so I'd stopped doing it, but taken it with me to see if I could sort it out when I was away. Instead of which, I used the wool to make pudsey, because I thought a golden pudsey would be quite fun, you know, a bit more posh than a yellow pudsey. So I did this and I loved it. And then I knitted his headband and put the things on. And I love it. I don't really want to give these things away, but I love to give them away as well. So when I'd finished this, I was back to the chocolate oranges. And for the craft fair today, it didn't sell, which is why I've got it now. I'd given it to Jan for selling, but nobody bought it. So I brought it home again, and it will go, you know, somebody will buy it. And so this morning, I finished him off in the wee small hours this morning, because I was up early, and I thought, oh, let's finish him off. And this is knitted, the headband is knitted, but that band is bigger than that band. And I didn't want to try and work out how to knit a band, because it's not just straight, it was shaped. So I thought, oh, that's a pain. But because I'm a crafter, I thought, oh, I can put a piece of fabric on there. And that's a piece of, it's fluffy. It's I forgot what you call that. Fleece. So that's a piece of fleece. And because I have sorted my boxes and I've got my Kallax boxes with my fabric in down the back here now, I knew exactly where that was. So I fished it out and just cut a shape piece that went round there. And then I thought, oh, I've got to put spots on it. But on this one, I embroidered the spots, but it was a bit more difficult to embroider. I would have had to use embroidery silk on this fabric rather than wool like on there. And that sounded all a bit fiddly. Then I remembered I got some nice sequins, you know, sparkly sequins. So he's got a very posh bandage. Look, he's got sequins I sewed on. But of course, it wasn't as easy as that was, because I had to sew the sequins on, which meant I had to find a needle and thread, which I haven't used for years, but I did know where they were because I'm getting more organised. So I got my needle and thread. But of course, my eyesight's not as good anymore. So trying to thread a needle was not very easy. But then I managed to find a needle threader. So that was good. So I threaded my needle and did that. Well pleased I was with that. And so managed to do that fairly quickly this morning. I think he's lovely, but, you know, I'm a bit biased. So look, so those are up for sale for some charity, and you know, and I make things for different charities. I said to Jan, the things I made, shall I take them home and use them again somewhere else? She said yes. So I said I can always make more for her next events and things, but otherwise she's got to store them all, whereas I can move them on and then make more if she needs them for the future. So yes, so that's what I have done. So that's my work for now, but I've got this long list of things that I've got to do. I love them, you know. I'm still a little girl at heart, as you know, Patricia. Patricia's saying they're lovely. I get such a kick out of doing these things. So even if I didn't give them away, well, if I didn't give them away, I'd be inundated, buried alive by my knitting. But I just love it. And you know, they take on little characters of their own. You know, each snowman might have a slightly different face. You know, their eyes might be a bit more wonky or a bit, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter, does it? But I just love them. And so, as I say, we've already done a lot of fundraising. My daughter's already got all these orders, and then every time she talks to me, she says, "Oh, by the way, can we have another 6 snowmen, or can we have another 3 Christmas puddings, and this one and that one?" And I made some penguins. Now I haven't got the penguins, but imagine this without his hat, but with a different shaped beak, and done in black with a white tummy. So I made a penguin. I didn't have a pattern for the penguin, But I've got so many patterns for things like this. I didn't have a pattern for Pudsey, but I just made a snowman shape like that. And there was something, a mouse or something I'd done before. So the ears were taken from that pattern. So I mixed and matched to make Pudsey. And you know, I could make a Winnie the Pooh and things like that using the same basic pattern, because you only have to have a little bit of imagination. I'm not very good if I've got to change shapes and things of knitting, but you know, I can take the ears from this and the arms from that and put them all together and do it that way. So I have that sort of seeing eye. So yeah, so you know, I absolutely love it. I'm in my element when I'm knitting. It's, you know, I just enter another world when I'm doing my knitting. And I'm so pleased that my grandchildren are, you know, wanting to knit or crochet. It's just marvelous. It warms the cockles of my heart because I taught them to knit and crochet several years ago when we were at their caravan. And they did it for a while and then they stopped it. And, you know, I've given them wool and all the bits and pieces and they hadn't done much with it. But it was the fact that I was knitting there and having such pleasure with it while I was at their house that inspired them to get there. So I didn't say anything. I didn't say, oh, isn't it time you got your crochet out or anything like that. I didn't say that at all. They just went and did it and it really warmed the cockles of a granny's heart, you know. So I'm glad to see that that tradition will live on because I learned from my gran. I think my mum knitted, but I think it was probably my gran who taught me when I was knee high to a grasshopper. So I've knitted for years and years. I've had spells where I went off knitting, and when I was in recovery from pneumonia, I didn't want to do it. I was doing papercraft. I didn't want to do anything very much, but I was doing my papercraft. But I'm so glad I've picked it up and done it again because it's lots of people are getting inspired, and that's, you know, that's nice, isn't it, that we can inspire each other. So yes. Oh, and my sister's got a birthday this week. My sister and my son have birthdays this week. They're both born on the same day. And when I went into labour with my first child, whose birthday is this week, I can remember being heavily in labour and then my husband saying to me, "It's all right, you can have the baby now." And the time had clocked past midnight, and we were now on to my sister's birthday, and I did have the baby at 1:10 in the morning on my sister's birthday, and I got the most amazing amount of brownie points from my mum for having my son and my first child and her first child shared a birthday. So I got all the brownie points. I think I lost them later because I used to stand up to my mum. She was, you know, a bit of a, much as I loved her, she was very much do as I say, you know. And I don't mind saying that, and you will have detected that my connection with my dad was stronger than my connection with my mum. Having said that, we had a wonderful childhood, but she still wanted to control me when I was older, you know, when I was a married woman. And when I started putting my foot down, the relationship wasn't quite as good. But, you know, I still loved my mum and, you know, we still had good times. But it was, you know, Daddy that I had the extra special connection with. But anyway, so my sister had a birthday. My sister used to play the piano very well. She's actually got the piano that I bought for my children when they were learning to play the piano. Because, of course, I've moved so many times, there's no way I could keep taking a piano with me, and I don't play the piano. So anyway, she's ended up with the piano, which is great. Every time I hear Fur Elise come on the radio, and I listen to Classic FM a lot, it reminds me of my sister. I always think of my sister with that tune because that's what she used to play it very well. So anyway, one day, some years ago, I used to sell Phoenix cards and gifts. And this, it says, can you see it? It says Chopin list. It's a play on words. It's a shopping list, a pad for a shopping list, but it's got Chopin and Liszt, both who are, oh dear, my brain fog's telling me I've forgotten. When you write music, the writer of music, what's Composer is the word I want. And so Chopin and Liszt, for those who don't know, are both composers, and a Chopin Liszt, that was a little play on words. I thought that was rather fun. Well, I've had this for years, and for years I've meant to send it to my sister for Christmas or her birthday, and every time I've looked for it, I can't find it. Now, I have it in my hand today, and my sister has a birthday at the end of the week. So do you think between now and her birthday, I cannot lose this? I can package it up and put it in. Thank you, Susan Composer, she said. I can put it in the post and get it to my sister along with some other nice things. Now, last year, I made her a card that looked like a piano. I was greatly inspired by Louise, who runs a YouTube channel. She's called Iced Images, and she makes marvelous cards. She's not the only person I watch, but she does a lot of those wow cards I make. And she had made a card that looked like the keyboard of a piano. And it looked complicated, but it was absolutely so easy to make, just in black and white card. And I made this for my sister. And she's never thrown it away. It still sits on the side. And, that's when I make something like that. I don't really want it to go in the bin. What people do with it afterwards is okay. But, when I put all my love into it, it's so nice when they say that they've still got it and they loved it. And she talks about it every time she talks to me. She talks about that lovely card. Well, I haven't decided what I'm doing for her birthday. Her birthday's at the end of the week. I've got to rack my brains and come up with something. I've got to outdo what I did last year. And I'm having a brain racking session as to what I can do that will top last year's card. But I have found this. This turned up in a box I was sorting the other day. I thought, right, that's part of her present and I mustn't lose it. I am getting more and more organised. And now I've got all my little organisational boxes. My daughter will say, well, what have you done with my mother? If I ever get organised enough. So, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So but I have got, this week just came, and it came on Friday. It was something I couldn't resist ordering from Tonic Studios. I haven't got it here, but I'll show you because I'll be making it. But I don't think my son watches these, so he won't know. It's a retro kit. So it's a die kit for making the controller, a gift box in the shape of the controllers for a Game Boy type thing, the gaming controls, those sort of, they're a bit like kidney shape, that sort of thing, and a machine like you get in an arcade. And I'm just going to have fun with these. So that is the gift box. I've got to now think of a gift for my son that will go in something like that. So I'm going to make the gift boxes this week. I bought them because I knew that they would be used over and over and over again. Because some of these things aren't the cheapest, but if I know that I'm going to use it again and again and again, then it's worth getting. And because I do so much for the craft work, I think, well, it's worth getting. So I'm going to be making the Game Boy controller and the arcade. And I was talking to Jan I was telling her about it on the way home, which was giving me a lift. And I was saying, my grandchildren play on arcade machines when they're at the caravan park. I said, but their machines push tickets out, don't they? And they take the tickets and they get, they might have to save 1,000 tickets and get one crayon or something out of it, but they love it. They absolutely love getting all these. And I said, I said these arcade. Sorry, my Fanta's making me a bit windy. The arcade machine. I said, but these ones don't have the little tickets that come out. And then I thought, I wonder if I could do. I bet you I could come up with a way of making my machine have little tickets that you can pull out. My brain is working now as to how I could, put that into this machine. So that's what I shall be thinking about when I'm getting my supper this evening. Because of course I haven't eaten because I fell asleep. Well, I ate my lunch. I ate some of my lunch while I was at the event. I take a picnic that's Slimming World friendly. so that I don't end up buying cakes and all the naughty things and putting the weight back on. But I hadn't eaten it all, so I ate that when I got in. But I haven't had an evening meal, so I'm going to have an evening meal shortly. Oh, just flipping back to the chocolate oranges, we have found those on good deals, you know, because every now and again they go on offer at different supermarkets, and we found them on offer this week at Tesco's and Morrison's. If you've got a Tesco's card or a Morrison's More card, they've taken, I think one of them had them at 97p and one of them had them at £1. And of course, if you're doing fundraising, if you can reduce the cost of those, you make more for the funds. People are still willing to pay that same price, and you make more for the funds. I mean, I will sell just the cozy. If somebody wants the cozy without the chocolate orange, I will have a price for that. But obviously, if you're fundraising and you can reduce your costs, it's much better. So we did that, and my daughter got loads while we were while I was on the mainland last week. But people on the island want it. There are people who are wanting to order them now here. And so I thought I'd better get some. So I got some, and then I'd got a few, and then I saw them on the offer, and I was going to do an online order for Tesco's, but Tesco's are very mean. They only give you £1 back on cashback if you spend £140, which I was not going to spend. So that was not a very good cashback return. So £1, and you could only order 6 chocolate oranges online. Well, that would be one customer. You know, we got so many customers. So I was looking at looking at it and thinking, well, I could go to Tesco's, but when I get there, I don't know if they'll have them in stock, and I don't know whether they'll let me buy more than 6 or whatever. And it's 2 buses to get to Tesco's, and while I'm doing that, I could be doing lots of the knitting. You know, I could knit another chocolate orange in all that time. Cover. No, I don't knit the chocolate oranges, I knit the covers. And then the Morrison's was the same. I wasn't sure whether I could get a lot or whether it was worth me getting on 2 buses to go to Morrison's to do it, and I decided against it. Put something on social media, and wonderful Susan here in the broadcast has picked up the challenge, and she went, and not only did she go to 1 store, she went to 2 stores and got me a pile of chocolate oranges. So I have to reimburse her for those. Really grateful. I love it when my community help me out. So by Susan helping me, it meant I could stay here, not get so tired going to do all that, and do my, although I knit when I'm on the bus, obviously I can't knit as much in that time as if I was sitting at home in the chair knitting or doing whatever. So Susan, I'm very grateful to you for those, and we need to hook up so that I can get those from you and sort that out. So thank you very much indeed. I was hoping to get the, I'd seen the chocolate orange calendar. You know that I told you before, I bought the 2023 chocolate orange calendar from the Tea Cozy Folk website. They don't just do tea cozies, they do chocolate orange covers as well. And the 2023 one had 12 wonderful patterns. Somebody said, why are you buying a 2023 calendar? No, it wasn't 2023, it's 2024, and we're nearly at the end of 24. So why are you buying a 24 calendar? I said, because it's got 12 chocolate orange knitting patterns on it. And they worked out very cheap. Oh, who's sending me balloons? I don't know how you do that. Somebody's sending balloons up the page. That's lovely. So I was happy to buy that because they'd reduced it, and so I bought that pattern. And the bees were one of the patterns on there. But there's a 2025 calendar, and I've got to limit my spending, because I buy the die cutters, I actually buy a card, and I'm quite happy to donate my card, my time, my wool, and all that to the charities. But there is there's a limit. So I want the 2025 calendar, but forking out for something else, I thought, actually, I wonder if this is something that the community would get behind, because I know some of you love watching the broadcast and love doing something you know, for the community, but obviously don't want to, you know, you don't knit or you don't do these things or you don't have a huge expense. And I wondered, and I put it out, but I've not had much response yet, but I think it will work. So the calendar has got 12 more chocolate orange patterns on it, one of which is an octopus, and there's a charity on the island who like the octopuses, octopi, whatever they call them, which is where this one's going next week. And the other octopi, that's an octopus, I don't know where he's gone. And so I quite like that. So I was thinking that if I broke it down, the patterns to buy individually are about £2 or £3. So I could buy them, individually, but that would make a lot more. So 12. So the calendar, they work out at about £1.50 each. So I was thinking if anybody would like to sponsor one of the months, so I don't know, I can't remember what they all are. I can't remember which month Octopus was or whatever, but there's lots of lovely ones on there. That if anybody was willing to make a donation of £1.50 towards that, if I got 12 people doing that, it would purchase the calendar. And then I thought, well, that's fiddly with the money. How do we do that? And my son said, that's easy. You give them the PayPal link. And so what I would do is give a PayPal link, and then it's /Go Live Granny. So don't, I'll do this if anybody wants to do it. Go Live Granny, and then you can put a / and the amount you want to donate, or you can just put a /, just put the Go Live Granny bit and go in and just pay. So I just wondered if I could find 12 lovely people who would pay £1.50 for one of the months of the calendar, and then we could get the next calendar and another 12. So not only do the charities benefit, I love it because I relax with it. You all love it because you like seeing what I do. So it's a win-win-win. I just thought that was a win-win-win, and something that the community might share in. So let me know if you're interested in that. No compulsion. Nobody ever has to pay anything to watch me. I don't want to make it a paid site or anything, but I know lots of people sometimes like to give back if they've enjoyed from here, and lots of people make things for the charities and that, and lots of people support each other, so you're all very good, and I don't want anybody ever to feel compelled. But if anybody felt they wanted to do something little like £1.50, then we would not say no. So commercial time over, let's move on. I'm going to be going soon. We're just 2 hours and 1 minute in, and I am getting a bit hungry. Oh, Patricia, thank you. Oh, wow. Wow, Patricia, that is amazing. Patricia has just said she would donate the money for the calendar. That is amazing, Patricia. Thank you so much. You are so kind, and you will love watching all the things. So I'll be in touch with you outside the broadcast, and I am thrilled to bits that we can progress and do more. And you know what? I will think of you every time I knit one of those patterns. These things have a knock-on effect. It's not just about, oh, come on, give me, and I never think. It's a community thing where we all work with each other. Gaz is saying he's almost ate all of his food for the night, Lynn. Oh no, well, I haven't, but you know what, I have had 5 chocolate orange pieces today. The segments that the chocolate oranges. I'm doing Slimming World, but I am still within my allowance, because I'm allowed to have up to 15 sins with Slimming World, and each one of those segments is 2 sins. Because I was out at the craft fair and doing that sort of thing today, I thought, well, I'll have my little treat. So I'm only up to 10 sins today. That's all I've had. I still have 5 sins left. You don't have to use them all. But I feel so good that it hasn't been an easy journey, and I get it that for some it's really tricky, on the weight loss journey. I know, because when I started, I weighed. I'm just nearly a year in. It's nearly a year since I joined, and I started well, and then I wavered and put it back on. And I know that when you're not in the right headspace, it's very difficult. But I'm in totally the right headspace at the moment, and I want to keep the weight loss going. My daughter's having more issues, because life is kicking in, you know, all those difficult bits when you just think you turn the next corner. And I know, because I've been there, suddenly another, you know, another curveball comes the other way, and it's so easy to comfort eat. I know, I've did it. That's how I got so big. So I get it, but I'm wanting to keep on my journey, and so far I'm managing it. You know, there will be bumps in the road probably, but I'm pretty proud of myself at the moment from where I've got to. And you know, I do a little pat on my own back because, you know, I can't. But, you know, food is wonderful, isn't it? But I have now managed to, and because I'm retired, it's easier for me now because I'm retired. So you know, I can cook the right meals. But I never spend a long cooking, because to me, if I'm hungry, I want to eat. And if I don't have something quickly that I've cooked, that's when I will snack on something that maybe not quite so good for me. So, you know, but anyway, I hope you had some lovely food, Gaz. Sounds like you probably did. Have you been crafting tonight, Gaz? Gaz is one of our prolific crafters on the island. And Gaz and I met online through a craft company. And then we actually met physically because we both live on the island. And Gaz is one of the volunteers who pops in now to the to help. He comes and helps in the hub that we do on a Friday morning when he can. Sometimes his work you're still at work. Oh, right. Okay. So no crafting until tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. So he's at work, so he can't be crafting until tomorrow. But he can eat his food. Obviously, he gets food time. Yes, so he's wonderful. And when I had to get called away to go to my daughter's unexpectedly last weekend, I called on Gaz and asked him. He was going to be at the hub, and we have a lady who's fairly new to the group and was very lacking in self-confidence when she came, and we've been doing crafting with her, and she's blossoming like, you know, like a rose coming out into full bloom. It's wonderful to see. But I wasn't going to be there, and so I called on Gaz and said, oh, are you going to be there? And he has the same craft kit that I was going to do with her that day, because I wasn't supposed to be away. And I messaged him and said, could you do this with the lady? And he did, and she was absolutely thrilled to bits, because I spoke to her on Friday and she was really happy. And so thank you, Gaz, for that. This community is amazing. I'm going to love and leave this community in a minute so that I can go and have my tea and have a wind down. And then this week, I'm looking forward to having my stair lift done, because, of course, I had to put it off because they were going to do it on Monday of last week. But my daughter had wanted me to stay because I was going to go back on Sunday for the stair lift. And she said, oh, Mum, I won't see you, because she was away for the weekend. And I was going to go on Friday when she would all be ready to be away, and come back on Sunday ready for the stair lift. She said, Mum, I won't see you. So she picked me up on Thursday. So I saw her on the Thursday night because the train fare went up too much. So she picked me up. And then I didn't come back until Thursday. So I had, you know, that time in between to see her when she wasn't working and that. So it was lovely. It was lovely. And I pootle around her house, and I try and do a few of the chores. I can't do lots of them, but I try and to do things like unloading dishwashers and that sort of thing in between sewing and not sewing, knitting time. So I had a lovely time. I don't know if there's anything else I was going to tell you, but if so, it will wait if not, it will wait for another time, when you will find some more of my lovely crafty things coming through. I'm always interested to look and see more crafts. Today there was a wonderful stall, and I did live stream. Your husband needs a stair lift. His breathing is awful when he goes upstairs and back. Can you get one? I was able to get a grant for one, Elizabeth. I don't know whether you can. Search it out, message me, and see if you can, because it makes so much difference. They offered it to me, after I'd had pneumonia, and of course my mobility not so good. I still get up my stairs, but for me, if I couldn't get up my stairs, it would be a bit of a disaster, because it's not like I've got a downstairs and an upstairs. I've only got an upstairs. You come in from my front door and go straight up the stairs in between two garages. There's a garage either side, and my stairs go between the garages, and my flat sits on top of the garages. So if I couldn't get up,
you know, that would be a bit difficult. Susan's saying, what am I doing in Craft Club on Friday? Because Susan's itching to get to Craft Club. I will do just a bit of general class. I'm not quite sure yet, Susan, but we're also doing a quiz because one of the lovely new ladies has organised a quiz. So we're going to have a quiz for part of the morning. Elizabeth saying she was only talking about a grant to my daughter. Excellent. Well, I'll message you, Elizabeth, and tell you, you know, a bit more about it. But I mean, I've had to wait a long time for the grant to be approved. So it was over a year for waiting for the approval, and you want that quicker, obviously. And then they approved it, but I was having the bathroom conversion and the stair lift, and it made more sense to have the bath taken out before the stair lift came in. So the plumbers, so I got the grant approved in between, what did I do, in June or July, but the plumbers were so busy. I mean, they're really good plumbers. They were so busy they couldn't start till the 4th of November. So I didn't have the stair lift put in before that. Unfortunately, I didn't need it that much. I do need it. I get upstairs, but it's, you know, I can still do it. But I thought when they offered it to me, I thought this is silly not to, for future proofing. I never know how long I will be able to do that. And also, I struggle to get my shopping upstairs. So now I will be able to get that up more easily. Right, Gaz has done. So Gaz and Wendy are going to be using Sheena Collection to make crystal ball cards. Ooh, that sounds nice. So Susan, that's what Gaz is doing. So if you want to come along, you can. I'm sure you'd be able to join in that if you wanted to, or I would be able to do something else. I didn't realise you've got something planned already. Wow, you're so ahead of the game, Gaz. Thank you. And I will be doing bits and pieces of craft it, whatever. Have a chat, Susan. Let me know what you might like to do if you come on Friday, and we'll see if we can accommodate it. We must do the quiz though, because Norma's bought the quiz specially. You know, she bought a kit, so we're going to do the quiz. I'm not sure how good I'm not good at quizzes. As you know, Susan and I went to a quiz and we called ourselves, we're here to make up the numbers, and that's all we did. Because we didn't get we came bottom, but we didn't care. We had a great time, didn't we, Susan? And Susan's friend came as well. So right, we'll talk to your boss tomorrow. Okay, well, it'll be lovely to see you on Friday if you can make it, Susan. And, you know, we will be doing something, you know, not too complicated and whatever, because I find that, you know, the easier things, some of the easier things are the most effective. You know, sometimes the simplest things can be the most effective. Anyway, I'm getting very dry now, so I need to go. I need to go and eat. I need to go and drink. I need to go and do some knitting. Hello, it's Andrew and his mum Yvonne here. Oh, hello, Alan Mackery. There we go. How nice. Andrew, you've just joined us just as I'm finishing up. Susan's saying we did indeed have a wicked time at the quiz. We did. I had to avoid all the snacks on the table. That took a lot of willpower because they covered the table in sweets and chocolates and things, and I didn't want them, so I pushed them all up Susan's end and with her friend, and I said no, I'm not. I don't want them in front of me. Next time. If I go to something like that, I will pack a picnic of snacks that I can have, because I could have undone all the good work in one evening, and I didn't want to do it, but it was really hard. But I managed it. The willpower just about held. It didn't become won't power. It was still willpower at the end of the evening, but only just. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. Was I saying anything else? I can't remember. Don't think so. Was there anything else I was telling you before I sign out? So it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming in. You are such wonderful people, and you're very special to me. You know, I had some silly troll who said, well, you're not much good. You've only got a few viewers and a few followers. And he got 3 million. Well, I feel like I've got 3 million sometimes because you're all so wonderful. And I said, I don't need 3 million viewers. I need nice people who interact. And that's what I've got. And I'd rather have a small number of dedicated, lovely people who support each other, because I can see you supporting each other in the chat. I've got the chat down the side and I can see whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube. And of course, YouTubers can see YouTube comments and the Facebook people can see the Facebook comments. I was talking to my son, because I saw him obviously last weekend, about this StreamYard issue, because, I'm not paying for the StreamYard subscription because they wanted too much money. And so I now go in through his account while he's still got. He's not going to renew it at the end of the year because they're putting it up and it's just too expensive. And I said, well, how can I do it so that I can go live on YouTube and Facebook? He said, I need 2 gadgets. So I need a second phone, really, basically. But again, that's not part of my budget. My first phone is sponsored by a local business, White Fiber. White Fiber sponsored my phone. They sponsored it for 2 years, and then after that time, I bumped into John Irvine, because he thought I did a lot of good work for the island. He was happy to do that, and then I bumped into him. My phone had gone wrong, but I didn't like to ask him, tell him. And it was out of contract by that time, he paid for Apple Care, but it was not within that. And I saw him sometime later, and he said, "Oh, Lynn," he said, "that phone must be getting a bit old. How are you getting on?" I said, "Well, actually, John, there's a major problem with it." He said, "Oh, right, we'll get you a new one." And yeah, that's it. As Susan's saying, could you use a tablet on your Wi-Fi? Maybe I certainly could. My tablet's not brilliant, but I could give that a try. I might try that not on a Sunday night, to some other time, to see whether we can get the 2. I'm on my phone at the moment, and whether we can get the 2 going, like that. So it would mean I would switch this one on and switch that one on at the same time and do it that way. So that might be an option. But my tablet is getting a bit old and doddery, but I'll give it a try. And I mean, I was so grateful for that, because that was given to me by a member of the community. And when we were in lockdown and I was locked down at my son's house, remember, I went for 5 days and ended up staying 3 months because Boris locked us down. I was live streaming from their place with 2 gadgets. But the thing is, I've got to get my head around it again. You've seen others do it that way. Absolutely. I got to get, thank you, Elizabeth. I will check your message in a minute. I got to get my head back around it because, as I say, I get brain fog a lot since I was ill with pneumonia, and I have to start processing right from the beginning again. But I got to look and see. But I think that should work. I think we could perhaps do it. It means I might talk to one camera more than the other. I might have to go a bit like this. But it certainly cuts out having to pay, for that all that expense of StreamYard. StreamYard's good because it means I can link between the 2 and set up the broadcast and that. But you know what? There are cheaper ways of doing it, and I would rather spend my money on buying things that to help with fundraising, so that I can keep increasing the crafting gift, whatever, the crafting opportunity. So that's how my brain works. Anyway, right, I'm going to go now, folks. I'm going to love you and leave you. You are wonderful people. Doesn't matter how many or how few of you are here. Even if there was just one of you here, I would broadcast as though there were more, because it's so important that we do support each other along the way. Right, that's it. That's a sign I need to go, folks. Have fun. Have a wonderful week, and let's reconvene next week. And next week, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up a weekly alarm that goes off in time to remind me to be awake for the broadcast. I do it for Slimming World. I have an alarm that goes off at 5 o'clock on a Thursday every week to remind me that I need to get ready to go to Slimming World. I think I need to set up an alarm to remind me that I need to broadcast. Night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you again next week. Have a wonderful week. And if in between times you feeling a bit fed up or anything like that, reach out. Let's have a chat. You've all got Tina to thank for the fact that I started live streaming again, because she said she was missing the broadcasts, and that's when I decided to do the virtual birthday party back in September, and then decided actually we should do this more often. So thank you, Tina, for that, because I enjoy it And I know all these other people do too. Bye.